Hey everybody, Bones here, Bones Garage, just bringing the update what's going on at the garage. So, 1968 Cadillac Coupe DeVille ragtop. We now have her up in the air, and I want to show you some of the butchery that goes on with these old cars. Like I said, this is a brand new, in an earlier video I told you this motor was just rebuilt. This is a 472, 1968 472, 10-to-1 compression. Really one of the better motors for Cadillac. One of the higher horsepower, and it is the highest torque for 1968 was one of these motors. But one of the things I want to show you is somebody put this motor in, and then you see this fuel line right here? It's kinked. It is completely kinked. When you get on this car and floor it and hold it for a few, trying to get on the interstate, it starts starving for fuel because it can't get enough fuel because this line was kinked. Why did they not just change out that line? I mean, it's not that hard to do. It's a very easy fix. But no, they just left it there. And then another thing that they did, which the owner told me he asked them to do, was to change the power steering pump. That's the bottom of your power steering pump. You can see how much fluid that power steering pump is just pouring out of this car. It's everywhere. It's all over this nicely new, refreshed motor. Some other things I want to show you is how badly, now this is your airbag for your air ride system. This is the new suspension. They get rid of the springs, you put airbags in. It gives you the adjustability of up and down, and you know, it's a softer ride, it's a nice ride. I like air ride, it's great. But what they did here to get that airbag in there, and they cut the frame open and then didn't reinforce anything and just butchered it open. Look at how butchered everything is where they did it. Look at how bad the welds are right here. See these welds right there? Look at how bad they are. Now that's holding your shock in. That is terrible. Then they used these hose clamps to hold the ride levelers in place. These should have been mounted up onto the control arm. Not here with a hose clamp. It should have been mounted to the control arm. So we're going to fix all that up. Then if you look under here, again, you could see the butchery. Why did they have to cut this all the way open like that? Then they're using two nuts to space this out, which it shouldn't have been done that way. It should have been done with the correct spacers that are supposed to go in here. That's the way it should have been. They have the shock, as you can see, in the wrong position. It's sitting like this. It's sitting crooked like that, when this shock should have been facing more up and down. They just didn't put the mount in the right spot. This mount was supposed to go more to the back of the car and right up against the frame over there. But instead, they put it right where they put it. You can see a lot more of that butchery. Look at that. Look at how butchered that frame is that they did. That is just absolutely horrible. And if you look, the one thing you never want to see on an airbag is that right there. See that scuff right there? Not here. This is where the airbag touches, the upper part of the bellows touches the lower part. See that right there? That is touching the frame. That right there, see that scuff mark? Look at how bad that has been touching the frame. That is the third airbag that he's put in on this side. And you can see even over here, that is touching the frame. So this is not good. The way they have this set up is not good. I mean, look at how butchered all of this is along here. It should have been a nice, clean, pretty cut, but they just threw it in. More butchery. Look at how they ran all the airlines for this. Why would you do this? It's all the way, and then they leave it hanging here. It's hanging below the frame. So this is actually just sitting there, right there you can see, dragging on the ground. It just drags along the ground. When the car is down low and you're riding low and slow, that line rides right along the ground. Really? You can't just get a couple of P-clamps and P-clamp everything up along the frame line, and then you take all of your fuel lines and you just wire tie them together. Take the fuel line and put it onto the frame. Now, the main reason we're doing what we're doing and changing the frame out is, once I get this bent out of the way, you can see right there. See how the frame is all rotten away? That's all rotten. All of the frame right there is rotten. And then underneath, you can see how bad it has rotted. It's all throughout. Look at that. This whole section of the frame, from here all the way back to here, is completely rotten, from that whole section of the frame. And it's the same thing on this side. And you can see it. See how it's just completely gone. This whole section right up to this speed hole right there. Everything is all rotten in here. So we're going to get rid of we're going to take this whole frame out and redo it. And then we're going to redo all his fuel lines. We're going to redo all his brake lines. You can see the floor pan is starting to rot through. So we're going to cut out all these floor pans and redo all of the floor pans. Same thing with the front floor pan on this side. This floor pan on the right side is still in men's amends condition. We'll patch it up, get it all nice. And then this floor pan as well. Somebody had put something under here, maybe trying to jack it up or whatever, or hit a rock. But whatever they did, they bent this all up over here, and it's separated from the body frame. So we're going to just cut all this out and replace it. Another thing they did was they put a dual exhaust system. That's great, but the owner didn't want the dual exhaust system. He wanted this thing quiet, quiet, quiet. He wanted the big mufflers with the resonators on the end. He doesn't want to hear the motor. He wants to drive a Cadillac, not a race car, a Cadillac. So they put this dual exhaust system in, which is fine. You can make them quiet. You put a better muffler on it. You put the resonators on either side towards the back, and it quiets it down really nice. But look at the way they mounted this thing to the body. This is terrible. This is absolute. They welded this to the frame of the car, welded this to the muffler, but the problem is they didn't make it long enough. It hits the floor right here, right there. Right there, it hits the floor. Listen. That's hitting the floor. Every time you go over a bump, that's what you hear. Bang, 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 bang. Same thing on this side. You're hitting the frame right here. You're hitting the frame right there. Look at that. You barely have to touch it. You barely have to touch it, and it bangs on the frame. So we're going to go, he wants just a regular single exhaust. So we're going to take the exhaust, bring it back around through here, and make a regular single exhaust for it and have it come out the back side. So we have quite a lot of work, and that's just a little bit of what we have to do and what the owner wants us to do. So there is a lot of work that's going to be going on this car. But it's a nice car. It's a beautiful cruiser. It really is. It is a perfect cruising car. And for what he wants to do, it's going to be a great car. I love the air ride in these cars. It's really good. Makes for a beautiful ride. And these cars are just so nice. You sit in it. There's plenty of room. It's just such a great car. I wish Cadillac could make a car like this again. Not what they call a Cadillac now. They're really nice cars, these new ones, but they are not comfortable. They have a terrible ride. It's just, no, this is a car. So there you go. I'm a little partisan. I love Cadillacs, but yeah, this to me is the car. So yeah, we have a lot of work to do on this. God, look at this. Why would you do this? It's just, you charge somebody really good money and then do this. So we're going to replace all of this suspension. I have a whole setup for this thing, and it's going to get rid of these bushings here, which this is your biggest problem with these cars, is this bushing on this strut rod. And that strut rod holds the lower control arm, because you always need 3 points of contact to keep everything straight and keep it from moving back and forth. So here's 1 point of contact. Here's 2 points of contact to the frame, and then there's your 3rd point of contact to the frame. So what happens is, as the car is going up and down, this strut rod will go up and down with the car, and it just continually eats up this bushing. And then you get what we have here, where the bushing is pretty much gone. And then you have a lot of movement, front to back movement in your front wheels, which causes it not to handle very well at all. You get a lot of bump steer, a lot of moving around down the road. It's very sloppy feeling. So we're going to change this whole system out. And when it comes in, I'll show you the new system. It is really a nice setup. It's expensive, but it is so worth the cost. When you go to an airbag, this is the system you should use. It will eliminate all of this problem, and it will make these things handle so much nicer. Some other things we're going to probably do is box in these lower control arms, which really helps stiffen the back end up a little bit. It makes it a little nicer ride. And fix the mounts that hold the fender skirts in. This one's not that bad, but if you come to this side, see this mount? They did a bunch of booger welds up here. They tried to get some sheet metal, but it was too thin, so the whole thing is starting to fall down. And you could see how badly they did this. They should have started from here and worked their way out and just replaced all of it. But that is why we're going to replace it. See how nice and tight the line is up here? And then you go all the way across, you see how much bigger that gap is getting? And then when you get over here, look where it sits. It's about an inch too far down. So we're going to fix all that, make it all nice, and it rattles. So we're going to fix all that. Then we'll probably come in here, clean up some of this surface rust that's starting to form in here. If we have to, we'll throw a quick patch panel on this thing and make it real nice. So yeah, we're going to get to work on this. All righty, guys. I will talk to you really soon. I will keep you up to date as we go. And I can't wait to get this car back out on the road. It is such a nice car. I love these cars. So, all righty, have fun. Talk to you soon. Okay, bye.